upon a time, there was a creature that walked the face of the earth, and he was a feared thing. He was the kind of guy that would look death in the face and spit in its eye. And his spirit sat on the horse next to Attila the Hun and rode in the car next to Frank Nitti. And slowly technology has beaten this creature down to where in the 1990s, he's on the top of the endangered species list, and I'm talking about the real man. From a time when men were men.
I'll tell you what, that chop knocked his left kitty off in the first row of ringside over there, man. I'm telling you, left chest, I should say. I'm on national TV. I'm sorry. All right, it is.
I want you.
It's sexual, baby.
I want you. And I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna get to touch your body.
Backbone Wrestling Network, welcome to episode 5. Number 5 already, Keith. Anything you want to say before I say anything from number 5? Cold open here. Cold open.
I really hate you right now because what you're opening this show with is just fucking garbage.
I don't understand. Based on your ranking of the last match we're going to open up with, I don't understand how this one's any. Well, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right. So, episode number 5 of the Hands of Z podcast. I am Shawn, and you're Keith.
I am Keith.
He is Keith. Don't know how long if we'll get past episode 5. Apparently, we'll see. I thought the shit take would get past episode 10, and we made it there. So,
yeah.
I can't believe we're on episode 5 of this pod that just got willed into existence. That's fucking taking me out too. Like even I know how. Even I know how ridiculous this whole concept is, but I'd be lying if I said I'm having a great time doing it.
You know what, though? The numbers are there. People want to hear our thoughts on the living legend and the one-man gang. So
the one-man gang. Oh, by the way, on our next episode, I have another match with one-man gang Garvin, by the way. So just be ready for that one. Yeah. All right. So episode 5. So if you remember on our last episode, we left you with what was going on with the AWA World Title situation. Big cliffhanger. Meanwhile, I was very happy with the cliffhanger that I was able to do. You know, in retrospect, a couple episodes we did the Garvin versus Orndorff. I should have cliffhangered that one and then made you watch the pile driver match, and I didn't, and I regret that. So I might have to revisit that one too, so you can see how that one plays out.
Okay.
Fucking storylines with these.
You could just say like, "Hey Keith, why don't you watch that and tell me what you think?"
No, because I might have to put it on a watch because we're gonna go like 50 episodes on this bad motherfucker.
Oh God, no,
no.
Oh, we need to save it when we pivot and start watching Paul Orndorff matches. That's what you should do.
I'm not a big Orndorff fan, so that probably won't happen. Anyway, so last episode we had this big controversy. I'm gonna play again when I decide to edit this and how I do it. I haven't figured out yet. I'm going to play you the pre-match promos of all this, the aftermath of what happened in the last episode where they ultimately just held it up, right? And I love the pre-interviews they did. And you know what, Keith? Here's the thing.
Yeah.
This match is on 8/26/89, so it's a little bit over a month later in the rematch. But the title was held up. I think this is honestly AWA's biggest dart throw on an angle they could have done in 89 as they didn't have much going on, right? And I think this is their big bet. I don't hate them for trying to do something with this.
Okay.
You don't either. You like the last match, so you set up an angle. You even said that was pretty good of what they did.
I did, and I don't hate this. I don't. All right, so let's
go.
You lost. I won this
for every person that served in the military, who died for my country, for those who haven't, for those who have served, for all the kids, all the wrestling fans. I did it for you. You're my champion.
And the disqualification stands, so Larry Zybyszko is the world's champion.
The championship belt returns to Larry Zybyszko entering the area, and once again we have Larry Land in rule.
You know something? It never left Larry Land. I think it's about time the AWA had a president like Mr. Blanchard who knows what justice is all about. It's just like I said in my interview previous to when Sergeant Slaughter tried to rip me off, that he should be disqualified, and I'm glad he was disqualified.
But I'm going to do it again, Larry Zybyszko. I'm not the one that got beat. You got beat, and you're going to get beat again because Sergeant Slaughter can beat you. You know it. All the fans know it. And most of all, Mr. Blanchard knows it. Well, it's been a rough, hard week for Sergeant Slaughter. I've been at the slaughterhouse working very hard. Zybyszko, you've got something that belongs to me. I won it the last time we were in the ring. I got you in the Cobra clutch, and there was no way out. No way out. But the referee was knocked down and gave the match to you on a technicality, saying that the wrong referee raised my hand. Well, this time we're going to have two referees. In a few moments, Larry Zybyszko, you're going to have to step in there with me. You, Larry Zybyszko, nobody else, just you. You and me, Slaughterland, slaughterhouse style, just the way I like it. Zybyszko, I hope that you got everything ready, because I don't want any excuses this time when I walk out with a World Heavyweight Championship strapped around my waist, and I'm going to walk proud as an American and the World Heavyweight Champion.
So this is the follow-up match. So same two refs from our last episode. So you have two refs in this match, right, in the rematch. What I love about this one that I like better than the last one is Nick Bockwinkel is on commentary with Marshall. And Marshall, Marshall says, this is where I love this so much. Just hear me out. Marshall says there's a history on this match. And Bockwinkel says, I'm sure there's anything involving Larry Zybyszko. I'm sure there's a history. So it's pretty obvious Nick not up to speed on their last match in the commentary. And so I put way to sell the angle, Nick. And then Marshall goes through and outlines the entire last match for the viewers, but it's probably more for Nick because Nick has no fucking idea what's going on. So I'm going to pause there and tell me how much you love that. I hope you love that as much as I did.
I did, but also because when you sent me the list for Hands of Z 3, you included a 2-hour history of Larry Zybyszko and Nick Bockwinkel video. And I actually watched like most of that, and I was like, "Oh my god, what am I doing to myself?"
I was trying to set up the angle for you of what happened between them. That's all I was trying to do.
But it is such a I guess the phrase is apropos, where anything involving Larry Zybyszko is going to be history, including him telling everybody about the history of everything.
And Nick has no history, and he has no idea what happened in there. It's so obvious. He has no idea.
He clearly, Nick was already back. If Nick was even in the arena that night, he was already back at the hotel.
No, and I gotta give Lee Marshall credit because he tries to cover it.
Sure.
So like he covers it in a way where he's trying to cover it for people that might not have saw the last match, but it's very clear he's doing it for Nick because they're in the moment on commentary and he has to do something really fast.
Right.
So for me, that immediately makes it a 3-star match just because of the commentary from Nick. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm not.
God. Okay.
I'm kidding. But it is a fun moment to hear. I loved it. And then here's the other thing that I'm gonna love so much. Again, give it to freaking Nick Bockwinkel. Larry does so much stalling, which Nick calls out. Marshall goes, call Larry a psych master, and Nick asks if he had come to wrestle or does he run backwards all the time? So basically, your take of him being a staller, Bockwinkel totally calls it out in the match, which is amazing. It's almost like you were mentally in sync with Bockwinkel on the commentary, and I freaking loved every minute of it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So Larry goes for the eyes and throws Slaughter out and right into the table and spends first 5 minutes just kicking and knocking Slaughter off the apron and not letting him back in the ring. Sarge finally gets back in and Larry bails out and Sarge chases him, gets caught getting back in the ring. Larry pummels him. Sarge fires back and throws Larry outside. He throws Larry into the table and back immediately into the ring. Slaughter with a clothesline for 2. Slaughter does get a pretty good chop to the chest. Second ref blocks a Sarge punch, and Larry hits a pile driver. Nick clearly not getting headset guidance during this because Nick actually calls this he didn't get all that pile driver, which basically is Nick Bockwinkel calling it a shitty-looking pile driver. So clearly he's not getting any McMahonisms in his commentary, or Vern's not in there in his ear yelling at him about calling bullshit, which is great. Sarge blocks a suplex and hits one of his own that I thought looked good in Larry selling the move, to be perfectly honest, because it's literally like he just lifts him up and Larry's like sprawling around in the air and then takes the drop. I thought looked good.
Yeah.
Another clothesline to Larry. Larry blocks a Cobra Clutch. Larry with a sleeper. Sarge reverses to a Cobra Clutch. The refs are arguing. I'm not sure why, but they broke the Cobra Clutch up. I don't really understand why. Larry goes for the foreign object. Sarge reverses atomic drop against the object and hits Larry with it, and the bell is called for. Okay. The refs keep Sarge at bay as he goes after Larry. He escapes and goes right after Larry, and Cobra Clutch on the floor. Larry keeps shoving the refs aside. The fight goes to the back. Sarge is DQ'd. There's post-match that I'm going to play. There's a post-match interview by Eric with Larry, who just literally screams and shits all over Sarge as a disgrace. I'm going to play it because it's so great. And Larry actually has a black eye during this promo. He's livid. I loved it. Then they cut to Eric and Lee saying nothing has been settled. So I think a lot of the chicanery, a lot of the promos, a lot of the commentary for me, I thought was first class in this, just for the wrong reasons, to be very clear.
Yep.
I didn't think the match was terrible. Here's the thing. They never set up it should have set up a final match, and it never did. Very crooked booking and swerves, and the refs are what they are, and interfering. It was kind of dumb. I went a gentleman's 2 on this one. I think it was more about the booking than the participants, because I think they did beat the shit out of each other. And by the way, Sarge is 41 the day after this match. 41.
Okay.
So let me give you a little bit of history. Well, you tell me what you thought about the match, and I'll give you a little history of what happens after this.
All right. First of all, in the span of 30 days, Slaughter probably lost about 60 pounds. He looks great, actually.
He looks ready for his WWF run, maybe.
Yeah, he looks a lot thinner, which I liked. I thought that was kind of cool. A lot more in shape, a lot more put together, a lot more of the guy that I remember from like the bootstrap matches or the boot matches and
boot
shit
camps,
like that. Yeah, boot camps. He comes out with the G.I. Joe patch, which I thought was great, but or at least he has it on in the interview. Jesus, the golden-haired child, Eric Bischoff, at the end of the interview.
My God, that hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I like this match. This is why I think
But did we like it? Listen, I could probably go 2 1/4. I think I liked it, though. I think what took me out is I liked it for the wrong reason, maybe. I didn't hate the match, but Bockwinkel on commentary.
That's great. Again, I love like the commentary of like bringing somebody else in, you know. No, I had to go back because I didn't realize the match was over, and then all that stuff happened on the outside of the ring, and I thought that was all taking place like during the match. So I had to go back and rewatch it again and realize
they fight to the back, right? So
yeah. So I actually. You're going to hate me. I went 2.5 on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, this might be a first where you've actually beaten me.
This is why I hate you, because I actually enjoyed this.
I went 2, and you went 2.5. Wow.
And I went 2.5 because I felt like they amped it up a little bit more from the previous matchup. I think that Slaughter looked a lot better. I loved all the brawling. The stalling actually worked in the context of the story, and you're right, the commentary was great. So, not terrible.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. Good. So here's the thing. So they have a pretty good feud going. I don't like that you got 2 schmaz Crockett endings in their matches, but you would naturally think, Keith, what would it lead to? It would lead to a final match, right? You would think.
Well, yeah. So you get the dusty finish in this one, but you got a disqualification. That's a schmaz.
Right.
It's not a
okay. Well, here's where they go wrong. So they do all these after promos, and then so let me give you the history from here, because
in today's main event, and talk about a battle, the heavyweight champion Larry Zybyszko cut up, bruised up, and battered after that fiasco with.
And you know what the sad part is? You know what the real sad part is? Sergeant Slaughter has exposed himself to the whole world.
And not only, he has to use foreign objects.
You use the
Don't you put words in my mouth. You're a disgrace to the country, Slaughter. You're a disgrace to the flag. You're a disgrace to wrestling. You're a disgrace to the American public. You're a disgrace to the whole damn world. You're even a disgrace to the Russians who buy our secrets. I am appalled, and I will do everything I can to get Sergeant Slaughter fined, suspended, and thrown right out of the damn country. That is down.
There you have the.
I had to research this because.
All right. Okay.
Because Slaughter goes into WWF, but I also know Slaughter never won the AWA title. I'm like, okay, let me figure out what happened from here. Yeah. So Slaughter got other TV title shots, but never on TV. And he was just kind of there. And Larry went back to just randomly defending against the Baron Von Raschke's, Ken Pateras. He had a similar situation in an angle where he faced Nikita Koloff a few times.
Yeah.
And again, same thing. There was never even really a blow-off match. Then his final real AWA angle as champion was where Mr. Sayota beat him in Japan. And then he regained it in April. So that was kind of like the last Raw. Larry holds the belt until the promotion folds. Larry's last title defense of the AWA title is October 20th, 1990 at a house show. Want to guess who his final title defense was against?
Is it against like Greg Gagne?
Tommy Jammer.
Wow.
He was one of those guys that were trying to like get over big. And then he shows up. So his last match, 10-20-90 as the AWA champion, and then he shows up at WCW in February of 91. Yeah. Guess who Larry's first opponent was when he returned to WCW?
Is it Tommy Jammer?
Terry Taylor.
Is it really? Oh God.
Okay. And then his second match back is with Sting. So two perennial people I've talked about, Terry Taylor and Sting, Larry's first. There's symmetry here. I'm telling you, there's symmetry.
Yeah, there's symmetry already.
His last televised AWA title defense was the race one that we talked about on the Shit Take Pod. That was his last televised team. Okay.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So Slaughter's last AWA match was on June 1st, 1990.
Yep.
Starts in the WWF in August, 2 months later. So there's 10 more months he's in the AWA from this match. And zero follow-up on his angle and really no really big like matches, right? Again, decent angle build for promotion on the downside. 2 bullshit finishes with no final match. No wonder it went out of business. And it's still hard to believe for me that Slaughter in 17 months is beating the Warrior. I just can't stop thinking about that.
No. And I mean, and again, that's why when I talked about Shit Take and I said that I think they should have had it be Earthquake, it made more sense.
I don't know. After watching this and realizing that this is happening before he beats the Warrior, it just seems Sergeant Slaughter in a dying AWA, and all of a sudden he's WWE. There's just something weird for me in that, It's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, pretty good little mini feud. Check it out. Both their matches are on YouTube, so if you want to see AWA try to pull off some angles, go check this one out. It's fun. If anything, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right. So our next match is an interesting one too. So we're going to do Ron Garvin here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in how you feel about this match.
Okay.
So Garvin literally, so this is on Super Bouts, which Super Bouts was kind of like their early stage of main event, where it would be they would have main event matches, and this is what ultimately turned into NWA main event in 88. But this match is on 9/27/87, which literally airs 2 days after Garvin has won the world title. So it was taped before he won the world title, but it airs 2 days after he's actually won the title on 9/25.
Oh, okay.
So this is 9/27/87. He won the title on 9/25/87.
But they don't address him.
Because he's not. He's not even addressed as world champion because the commentary throughout
this is supposed to be the tune-up match for.
So here's what I think. Here's what I think about this match. I think this initially aired on like an NWA Pro or something, and they just threw it on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So this I'm sure this initially aired before he won the title.
Yeah, it's got the pro like mat and everything like that.
Yeah. So, but a lot of the Super Bowl shows did too. So my point is, they probably taped this match or it aired on Pro before he won the world title because the commentary really vets it out. So here's the deal. So here's another great commentary piece. This is why I love this episode of this pod. Dusty and Cottle Dusty and Coddle, and remember we liked Coddle on the Paul Orndorff match a few episodes
He got a
ago,
bicycle.
Right?
Yeah,
and then Dusty's here, which is always a plus when Dusty's on commentary, and we're going to tell you why here in a second.
Yep.
There's a lot of so here's the match. A lot of headlock to start, mostly controlled by Arn. Dusty does a really good job putting Arn over as the enforcer, as he plays in a narrative of him. He's here to stop Garvin from getting the flare. So Dusty, if anything, is really good about storyline narrative and playing it up. Arn goes to throw Garvin into the turnbuckle, and Garvin blocks it and hits some shots, but Arn goes right back to the headlock. Garvin powers out, but Arn grabs what little hair Garvin has and puts him right back in the headlock. There's a lot of headlock to start. A lot of headlock. Garvin's thrown to the floor, and then JJ Dillon with some cheap shots. Garvin pulls Arn outside and chops the shit out of him and throws him back into the railing. Garvin gets control and tries to muscle Arn into a pin. Arn gets out and he misses an elbow, and then Garvin does an earthquake splash for 2, which looks really weird. Like he gets all like, it's just weird. Garvin right back to the head and limb work. Garvin punches and chops. Dusty, this is my favorite part, and I talked to you about this. Dusty says he knocked his left titty off, and then he corrects himself and says, "Oh, baby, a chest on national TV." I didn't.
Come on, national television, baby.
Like, I can't believe he said titty on syndicated TV in '87. It was amazing. And then there's Coddle, who absolutely no sells. I go,
no sell.
Okay,
no
well, Coddle totally no sells it.
Total no sell.
God bless Dusty Rhodes. Arn gets the upper hand and works the arm to get a pin with feet on the ropes. Garvin fires back with headbutts. Garvin rolls Arn up, and Arn kicks out. But what I love in the kick out, Arn holds on to his leg and keeps it tied up to kind of keep trying to force him down. That's really, really cool, right? Anyway, double collision in the ring. Both get up and go back and forth. Arn goes up to the top rope. Garvin up and throws him off. Crowd's absolutely bonkers. Crockett crowds are insane. Ron gets a figure 4, and then Arn punches Tommy Young in the face. God bless him. He should be, because Tommy Young fucking sucks. JJ goes to help Arn, and Dusty up and beats up JJ. Then you get Flair in the ring and a Horseman attack with Garvin. And then I'm also going to play during the editing of this the rest from here in Flair's post-match promo after this one.
Look at it now. What are you going to do here, baby? Off of the top rope comes Arn Anderson. Hook it in. This could be the figure. I think he's going for the figure 4, baby. Yeah, hook it in. Hook it in, runner. All right. Ronnie Garvin on the figure 4 on Arn Anderson. He's got nowhere to go either. Nowhere to go, baby. Gotta watch J.J. Dillon. Watch it. And the referee down. Here's J.J. Dillon now trying to go in, and Dusty goes over to J.J. Dusty Rhodes and that James J. Dillon. Here comes Ric Flair in. The world champion aiming at Ronnie Garvin as he comes with the elbow. Stomps and kicks away. Dusty had the sleeper on Dillon. Here's Dusty into the ring. Now here comes Tully. Here comes Luger. All 4 of the horsemen in the ring. They've got Dusty holding him in the corner. Luger pounds away at him while Tully Blanchard holds him together. He's got him in the backbreaker. The referee down again. Lex Luger with Dusty Rhodes in the backbreaker as the ring now just fills up. Dillon and Tully Blanchard trying to keep him away. Here comes Barry Windham, Nikita Koloff.
Well, there he was, Ron Garvin, fight on the mat, the world champion, stomping
That
away.
was no class reunion for the Dream of Ronnie Garvin. What that was a horseman's education. And Ronnie Garvin, how did it feel, huh? How did it feel, pal, to feel those size 12s knocking your chest through the ring? And there was Dusty Rhodes, the legend, the man, woo, in the human torture rack. Is that right, JJ? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't see a problem. Do you, JJ? What I see is 2 men that have boasted, bragged, and tried to convince the American public that they're ready to walk the aisle. They're ready to style and profile, when in fact, what they are is 2 men that got the you-know-what beat out of them at the hands of yours truly and my 4 illustrious friends, James J. Dillon, Arn Anderson, and Lex Luger. So, Ronnie Garvin, the next time you walk out here and tell the whole world that you're going to beat up Ric Flair, and Dusty Rhodes, the next time you call yourself the Legend and tell Luger to come your way, please play back that video one more time. And remember, the most important thing in life is to be number 1 all the time, not on your backside, not bragging about things that'll never take place. In other words, diamonds are forever. Woo! And so are the 4 horsemen. Yeah. JJ, you're looking fine. I've ever seen it.
Yeah. Dusty, by the way, he always has to get his shit in. It always ends up with Dusty. Like, if he's putting someone over, it always ends with him. You know, Luger, because he's feuded with Luger at the time. Luger gets him in the torture rack. But what I really do love about this is the irony in 1987 that Ron Garvin and Dusty Rhodes are the 2 top faces going into Starrcade 87.
Yep.
So, I will pause there. As far as the match, I will pause there, and I'll let you talk about how you feel about the match before I say anything.
Okay. First thing right off the bat, Dusty Rhodes should not be wearing jeans in 1987.
Oh, my God, I love Dusty Rhodes in jeans.
Luger gets him up in the rack and the post-match kerfuffle, and Dusty's fat ass in the jeans is just like, he's busting out of those Levi's. He is testing the friggin' stitching, I'll tell you that much. But
yes.
Dusty saying titty fucking broke me. It broke me. I mean, you need to edit that into our opening from now on. Is he slapped his titty off? Like,
you know what? You know what? That's a good call. I will. I will. And when you do episode number 6, because listen, I've already edited for the. I mean, I do that.
Yeah. No.
For our next episode, I will edit in Dusty Rhodes' titty. That is a great comment.
That's a great bit.
Right after the whoa.
Yeah. I actually really liked, because again, it's an Arn Anderson match, so I'm gonna be half fucking staff anyway. But like when he's going for like when they're going for like the pinning attempts, and then they're bridging, and they were both kind of like bridging with like their arms and like just kind of twisting their body to keep their shoulders
like,
up.
It was like legit badass realism, right? It was like, yeah,
extremely. Like these are 2 mat technicians going at it, you know,
beat the fuck out of each other. Yeah,
right. The post-match stuff was great. I'm gonna blow you out of the water when I tell you what I gave this.
What'd you give it?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I gave this 4.5.
What the flying fuck, Keith?
Yep, this might be one of the.
You loved it that much?
This might be one of the best matches I think I've ever seen.
Wow, I must have got you on a good day. All right. So this might leads me to okay. So for me, I think what that does for me is help me understand what some of the things you like in wrestling matches. I think that helps me a little bit.
Let me put it to this way: I watched this match. I had that conversation with Pete about Ronnie Garvin. I watched this match again. This is the quickest face turn I've ever had on somebody. This is faster than when I turned on Bret and I became a face for Bret Hart. I think
you're clearly evolving into a Ron Garvin fan.
I think I'm a Ron Garvin fan. I think you won. I think 5 episodes in, you broke me on Ron Garvin. So
that's amazing. So here's the thing. 4.5, super high. I mean, even I, being the biggest Garvin mark in the world, I can't go high on this. Here's what's great. Him and Arn match up so well. Like
it's because their chemistry. It's got Arn. It's got the classic wrestling. It's got the Horseman at the end. It's got Dusty on. It's the whole overall thing that's selling it for me here.
It's the whole thing, like how they fight. Like for me, I thought there was a little too much like headlock. Like I think there's certain things that I didn't like. But here's the thing: if you're into limb work, you're into mat work. And then you're into people just putting it in. And by the way, both of them are putting it in because they're dripping in sweat and everything they do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The good limb work that looks legit and it's harsh. And these guys pull that off. And here's the thing. I could see this match not being for everyone. I do, because there's certain things in this match that's not good. Like I could see a Chad Campbell loving this match. I'd be shocked if he didn't, just because I think 4.5's a lot. But I do love these two going at it. And there's other Arn matches that we'll watch, by the way, at some point, because they have like 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. One of them is for Arn's TV title in 1985, which is really fucking great. I went 3.5, and I thought I was going to be the high man on a totem pole with this one, to be perfectly honest with you. I did. I really did.
You know what? 4.5 is high. I'm not changing it, though. I'm sticking with it. I can't wait to hear the blowback I get from all of our friends when they go, 4.5. Are you fucking serious? But you know what? You're absolutely right. This just scratched all of the itches for me. Like, it was exactly what I wanted. And we didn't have to hear a Ronnie Garvin promo, so it was even better.
No, in fact, the promo I play is Flair post-match after it.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is you can't find a lot of like Ronnie promos with his opponents because they know better than to make them talk. So it's kind of hard.
But no, I mean, dude, I loved it. I love the Dusty. I love Dusty coming in. I mean, you're right. Dusty, 87, 88. Dusty is, as I like to say, Dusty's like, he's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Like, Dusty's always.
When they were trying to put over Barry Windham, there was Dusty Rhodes. When Rock and Roll Express got put over, Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Nikita Koloff, Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty
Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, Lex Luger. Oh, hey, Dusty Rhodes. You know, Dusty Rhodes. Like Dusty Rhodes is everywhere. Everywhere. But, so you do see some of the criticism of Dusty Rhodes, but I love Dusty Rhodes.
I love Dusty anyway. So
and he made this like here's what I love about this episode. Both commentaries on this episode
made the match.
5-star commentary.
Yeah.
And
made them. Yes.
Nick technically wasn't 5-star because he didn't know what the fuck was going on, but god damn it, it added to it. It was so great. So great. It's so great.
Yeah. So I think
all right. Well, might be an all-timer pod. Maybe an all-timer. Maybe number 5 is the big one, man. Wow. Wow, you made this match over Savage Garvin.
I know.
Holy fuck, Keith.
And I fucking and you know how much I'm a Savage Mark.
I know.
But it's because maybe it hit me on the day. But I watched it twice. I watched this match twice, and the second time I watched it, I said, "No, I love this. I think this is probably one of the best matches I've seen for television."
And I gotta find the Larry match that turns you there too.
For a television match. This is probably one of the best television matches I've seen. And you know what's funny is you made a comment about the earthquake splash and how it was kind of goofy looking. I thought it was awesome. I thought he was
because he spreads himself out like
yeah, but did you notice like he spreads Arn's legs and then kind of jumps through Arn's like spread?
And when he jumps on top of people, like literally he'll jump up in the air on the mat like he's doing a frog splash.
You know what?
Up.
You know what? I told you I told you at the beginning. I said I was gonna blow your mind, and I'm blowing your mind. Am I not?
On episode number 5, yeah, you're blowing my mind. You're blowing my mind. Wow. Wow.
Well, there you go. I
don't know what to say. I don't know, man. Where does it go from here on Ron Garvin though? That's the thing. It's like
it can only go down.
I don't know. Maybe we gotta call it a day. I don't know. I gotta figure this out.
Yeah, but
hey. So here's the other thing we're going to start integrating into this pod a little bit, right?
What?
I'm going to find a Larry match. It might take me finding a match. Well, I don't know. That might kill you. Like a match between Larry and Bob Backlund might destroy you. Because I don't know how you feel about Backlund.
I don't know. We'll see.
Or I need to find a match with him and Bruno so you can finally get over the whole, all he does is ever bring up his Bruno match. And let's just watch it and see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I just don't know if I can. I don't know. I don't know if I can do. Again, I told you, I had doing this project with you has kind of given me a little bit of a different view of Ronnie Garvin other than his 1989, where you have to.
Maybe Greenies from Allentown has helped you a little bit. Maybe it's a double-edged sword.
Well, but it's a double. It is, but it's all. Well, I mean, believe me. But when Pete and I first started doing GFA Live, I was still a very anti-Bret Hart guy, very anti-Bret Hart, and from just conversations and watching stuff and just kind of having a little bit more maturity put into me, I grew into probably one of the biggest Bret Hart marks. And the fact, I mean, Bret's on my Mount Rushmore. He's up there with Savage. It's Savage, Hart, it's Stone Cold. And I think honestly, I probably still have Andre because of what Andre did, but that's an honorary, right? Like you're making a face. It's an honorary position. If I really was going to go with somebody, I'm probably going with Mick Foley and all of his iterations, to be honest. Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love, whatever. But Bret
I would
Hart
love to see
never
Ron Garvin versus Bret Hart.
Well, Bret Hart was on there. No, God, no. Well, they never
We get Ron
faced
Garvin versus Mr. Perfect at some point. We're going to talk.
We
about
do,
it, so.
and I've seen that match, and that match is terrible. Ron Garvin in WWF is terrible.
There's two matches. There's two matches with him.
Except for his matches.
You're wrong. No.
Except for his matches with Valentine, Ron Garvin is kind of god awful. But whatever. Let's just leave it on a positive note. I'm so glad you started this show with Larry. I was really scared that I was going to have to go on a high note and then come in with a big fart at the end.
Listen, we had to do the sequel right out of the gate. We had to open it up at the head.
So there you go.
Wow, you got me totally. You got me totally floored. You know, the other thing we're going to evolve on this pod is I'm going to actually have tag matches too.
Oh, good.
Did you know, Keith, that Jimmy and Ron Garvin had a feud with the Rougeau brothers?
Oh no. Nice.
In 1980, in early 85.
Was he already Jimmy Garvin's stepfather at that point?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. But so we're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover a match between them and the Rougeaus because I was like, holy fuck, I gotta watch this one. So and then Zybyszko, might have to pick some matches where he teamed up with Bockwinkel. I am determined to find a match with Larry that makes you think, okay, he's not as bad as I'm saying he is. That's my determination.
Whatever you say.
Because I feel like now, because I don't know how I go from here. Oh, that's not true because it's in Territorial in September. You're supposed to watch Garvin versus Flair title match with me for the cage.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that one plays out. Because that's the one where Garvin wins the belt. We'll see if it matches up with the Arn match.
Okay.
And I'm only doing that on Territorial because that's more of a mainstream one versus, All right.
Okay.
So you get to do that one with me. More Garvin all the time.
Oh.
All right, Keith, before we go, anything you want to plug? You want to plug the fact that Shawn is 100% right about Larry Zybyszko and Ron Garvin? You can plug that.
I'm going to give you 50% right now because you are correct on Rugged Ronnie Garvin, from going all the way back to our first meeting in Detroit where we had that.
Here we are, a year later.
And I will say this, that, all right. So this is right now. I can't confirm. I am still willing to have the jury out. It could very well be, it depends on who Ron Garvin is up against. So maybe that's what I need to do. Because I liked the match against Jake. I loved the match against Savage. I liked the match against Orndorff. I obviously loved the match against Arn. And then, what was the other one that we watched with him?
So it's Savage, Orndorff, Jake the Snake.
Yep.
And against Flair, the one with Flair.
Oh, yeah. And I like that one. So it may be, I mean, and right there, you just have a who's who of fucking awesome guys that he's wrestling. So you got to give
I'm determined to find more.
You have to give me Ronnie Garvin versus, like, I don't know, Boris Zukov, and see if you can pull a fucking match out of that. You know what I'm saying?
How about Ronnie Garvin versus Greg Gagne?
Okay, let's see how I feel about that. So that's
I already know how I'll probably feel about it. That's why I made it up. But anyway, Keith, plug. Sorry, we got distracted. I apologize.
Yeah, all right, so plug. So you can hear me on GFA Live with Petey Winson every week. Pete's gonna shit when he hears this, and then he is gonna shit. I'm not telling him either. Wait for him to hear this.
This one doesn't. By the way, this episode, as of this recording, doesn't air until October. So
that's more than enough time for me to find a new place to live. So you can catch me on GFA Live with Petey Winson every week on any podcatcher app. You can hear me on A La Carte with Keithy, Hail to the Keith on the North South Connection Podcast Network. You can also hear me on Exposition on the North South Connection Podcast Network. I always seem to forget that, but I do end up showing up on there almost all the time. That's with Jenny and Tim. And you can also hear me on on the Backbone, on the Shit Take. And please listen to everything on the Shit Take because we're all working. Yeah. We're working real hard for you on the Shit Take. We're also working on the Shit Take on the Backbone. We're working real hard on the Backbone, and we're also really working hard on North-South Connection. So, we're doing all this stuff for everybody, and it's free of charge. None of us get paid. We don't even ask you for advertisement money or Patreons or any of that nonsense. So check us out.
So by the time this podcast airs, we're 5 months into the Backbone, which is crazy. But what's really cool about it, which I really love, because it's just a core group, right? It's not like it's a core group. What I love is ever since the launch, literally 5 pods a week. Like that's unheard of. And I think that's just really cool. And it's like just scheduling is on point. Everybody does it to have fun. And I think to knock out 5 new pods a week in a matter of 5 months is pretty stellar.
Sure.
So,
and hopefully also by the time this drops, we'll have what we're calling, I forget what we're going to call it, but I think it's going to be like Mud Pie Goes to School or something. But
oh my God.
I want to call it the education of one Logan Crosland, where Logan and I I'm going to be giving him some education on some movies, because as most people may have heard or not through the grapevine, Logan's only watched like 25 movies in his life. So
yeah, you need to make it like Benjamin Button kind of title, like this big flashy, like I love your title. The educate, like you got to come up with some really crazy movie title. The education of Logan Cross is great, but you got to find some really cool words in it just to make it. I think it's hilarious.
But we actually thought it was funny where it's like Mud Pie Goes to School, or Mud Pie learns about.
It's almost like Ernest. It's almost like Ernest.
But it's also funny because his wife's in education, so it's kind of like a double pun there. So yeah. So check it out.
I think that'll be a good pod, because the reality is Logan hasn't really seen a whole lot of movies. Anytime you bring up a movie, I haven't seen it. Unless it's like Three Ninjas or something.
Well, and the good thing is too is that like I'm actually challenging him with movies that not everybody would have seen. So yeah.
Well, I used to do a movie pod with him.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, it was called Popcorn Chicken Salad, where we would pick a movie and we would watch it like we did. Like I had him watch Cocktail for Tom Cruise. God. I had him watch Twilight Zone, the movie. We did Top Gun. So we've done a bunch of different movies, but there's a very clear list of movies he's never seen. Very clear. So that should be a fun pod. Very fun pod. So I look forward to hearing that. All right. So I'm not going to plug anything else. I think Keith did a great job of plugging the network, plugging everything. So next episode, I might either do a tag team match, or I might do, what was his nickname that you called Ron Garvin?
The one-man gang.
Yeah, so we'll either have one-man gang, Ron Garvin, or we're going to pivot to the tag team matches, and we're going to do Rougeaus versus the Garvins on the next episode. I don't know which one yet. And then we'll do a tag team thing. We'll see how that goes. All right, so with that, that closes out the big number 5. So keep an eye. We'll see you on the next episode.